What is up, boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about Swiss Army Man. Swiss Army Man was written and directed by the Daniels, or Daniels, and it is two people named Daniel, respectively. So, Paul Dano plays Hank, and Daniel Radcliffe plays Manny. And essentially, Hank is stuck on a deserted island, and right when he hits the brink and decides to kill himself due to the situation at hand, Daniel Radcliffe character's Manny shows up. From what we can tell, Manny is in fact dead and produces a lot of gas from the decomposition of his body, which then allows him to have these special traits or abilities that helps Hank get off this island and continue our story. So, first off, this movie is... It has, since the plot does revolve around gases and the fact that Daniel Radcliffe actually uses farts to propel himself and move his body in the scenes, it can kind of be taken as a crude humor, or that kind of subject matter is always laughed at. It's an easy punchline. And I think they play with that in the script and in the plot. There are kind of self-referential moments, and there's points where they kind of tease in the dialogue that, yeah, it's farts and it's ridiculous, and that's not really something that people talk about, or if they do, it's like a funny thing. And they take that and they kind of warp it into this really great story. And so other than that, you know, it is kind of like crude in a way. This movie is an R-rated film. There is some language, there's sexual content, and things that are talked about, you know, that I think it is made for an older audience. Other than that, this movie is absolutely visually stunning. It is one of the best directed, you know, photography directed films that I've ever seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. The scenery is amazing. The lighting is impeccable. It is just so beautiful. It is such a beautiful film. And on top of that, the actual score of the movie is great. The score kind of leads from them singing into actual pieces of music and then back and forth and in and out. And it's just so well done. It's not something you really see a lot. And the way that they do it is something that I'd like to see in the future, implemented in more movies, just because it is so seamless, you know, between them starting something and the actual song or track picking up after that. So the story overall is peculiar. At the end of the film, I was kind of left with some questions as to, you know, what really was the idea or the premise. Is this real? You know, that kind of thing. Which actually is what makes the story so beautiful, is that there's no real correct way to analyze this. It's its own kind of idea, and they use, you know, the confusion to really tell a great kind of piece about isolation and, you know, the way that Paul Dano's character feels in this world and how he deals with that. I think it's probably one of the best films I've ever actually seen. I really, 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 truly recommend it for you guys. Please go see it in the theater. You know, they would love to see the revenue from this movie, I'm sure. And if something like this were to do well, you know, hopefully we could see some more non-traditional art films make their way into the mainstream, and we can enjoy those, you know, together and just get more content like this. As somebody that's very into film and especially the more deep story side of things, this is exactly what I strive to make. It is so beautiful and just well done, and it just kind of leaves you with this sense of, like, you know, the story and it is so deep that it's more of a movie than it is kind of like looking at this as a great way to inspire you to make things and to look at like what they've done and apply that skill to your own life. So really, I just think it's really important to go see this movie. You'll enjoy it a whole lot. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 just because there's no really way to tell somebody, you know, what the genre of this film is, or, hey, go see this because this is what it's about, or this is what happens. There's no way to kind of boil this movie down and recommend it to somebody without saying, it's just really good. You have to go see it. Like, that's probably hard to get across, but if you see this movie, I think you'll understand what I'm talking about, and you'll feel the same way trying to recommend it to others. So with that being said, please go see this movie. Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano did a great job, and I really hope to see more from the directors of this film, and also these actors. So please leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this and other things. Recommend anything for me to check out. Like the video, it helps me out a ton. Maybe I can get my speech fixed, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more content. Thank you. I'll see you next time.